everyone, so we're live and I'm back with this amazing interview today. It's Mrs. Joanna Draus, who is living at the moment in Spain, but originally from Poland, and is the author of this amazing book. I have it here and ready, Your Vegan Kid, which is all about her personal journey and her personal experience in raising 3 wonderful children to be kind, compassionate, happy, healthy human beings. Joanna, well, thank you so much for coming on Cook Vegan and being with us.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody.
It's so great to have you here. And we were just saying before we went live how what an amazing coincidence it was, because Joanna and I obviously are vegans. We're both mamas of 3 children and we're both working. And so we're busy people, and we both attended an online course and have a certificate in plant nutrition from Cornell and the Colin T. Campbell Institute in America. And we were on the same group, on the same chat, and Joanna put a post in about being a mum of 3 and an author, and I clicked on her, and then I was like, oh, when I saw it, I said, I've got this book. So it was amazing. And yes, and then we were chatting and said, right, she's got to come on Cook Vegan. So Joanna, why don't we start by telling everyone, I mean, I've read your book and so interesting, your story about growing up in Poland in the 70s and 80s. Even now it's not, well, I say a lie. Now it is a leader in veganism, but
Yes.
you know, back then, a bit like Cyprus, everyone who's watching from here, and many people in the Middle East, you know, traditional meat-eating countries, meat and potatoes.
Yes.
So tell everyone who hasn't read your book a bit about your story and how you were inspired to help others with this book and encourage others.
Okay, so as you said, I was born in Poland, Warsaw, in 1970, and I kind of had a problem with meat eating since I was a little girl, because once I asked my mom, what is this on my table? And I heard it's an animal. I really didn't enjoy it. And I remember I was crying, I was rebelling against it, but these were like very different times. And my parents just said, you have to eat it in order to be healthy, to grow. Like, they couldn't imagine. They did the best they could, of course. So they somehow forced it on me. And then in 1993, when my first child, my daughter, was born, I was like rethinking all my childhood. When you are about to become a mom for the first time, it usually happens. You have all these childhood flashbacks coming to you. You are like, I'm gonna do better than my mom. I'm gonna be the best mom in the world. So one of the traumas, I remember, one of the problems was this meat. And I thought, no. My daughter is not going to go through this. I'm not going to impose it on her. And I said to my husband, to her father, like, listen, me and her, we're going to be vegetarians at the time, because I don't think I even knew the word veganism. And I said, you do whatever you want. Here are the books, read them. There was no internet. You couldn't do research online. So books. And he was okay with that. And after a few days, he said, okay, I'm on board. And so my first daughter, she was raised vegetarian from the very beginning. And also she didn't have any milk, any dairy until the age of 8, because she was allergic. So basically she just had eggs. It's what's called ovo-vegetarian, right? And it was a battle. I'm not saying it was easy, but this has like nothing to do with the choices and the possibilities that we have today, and the research and helpful people and the produce, it's all there. But back then it was really difficult, and it was a struggle on the social arena with grandfathers, in-laws, my parents, everybody in the family, basically. Even friends who didn't have children were like, are you sure? Do you really know what you're doing? And I'm not talking health professionals, because it was a disaster. And I really had to look hard, although I lived in a capital, I had to look hard for like private doctor to support me, because there was like nobody to talk to about raising your child, even vegetarian. And then when Veronica, my daughter, when she was about, I think 10 or 11, I became vegan. I say about because I don't really have a precise date. It was like I was thinking, yeah, I just thought like ethics wise, I knew veganism makes much more sense, but then I realized that also health wise. And health is always my primary concern, because I'm a mom. So I care about my children's health, and of course my health too, because they need me. I need to be there, and I need to be healthy and in a good shape for them. So then I thought like, okay, let's go vegan. And I went vegan, like, I don't know, gradually, or maybe like I made a step forward, step backward, but finally I went vegan like 16, 17 years ago. It was 2000, yeah, 2004, somewhere around this. And what? And Veronica wasn't very happy. Sometimes she still had her food, but like her non-vegan food, which was cheese and eggs at the time. But I was cooking vegan. Of course, she was lazy, so the majority of meals she had were vegan, and sometimes as a sign of her rebel face, she would make herself scrambled eggs or cheese sandwich, but it was just, you know, to show Mom, I'm not listening to you.
The important thing is, and that's what I was discussing yesterday on a live I did, and what you do discuss in your book, is about, while we do make decisions for our children on a lot of things, not just on what they eat, we take decisions every day for our own lives and for theirs, but it's also in giving them the choice. And I really like in your book that even though your daughter was raised completely vegetarian at a time when, you know, most people just thought that was weird, or they called it a fussy eater. When you were in a social environment, I think you said you went camping with your little one, mamas and daughters, and she said, Mommy, can I try the sausage? And it was the first time she'd seen that. And then you said, sure. And you let her do it. You didn't say no and try and make her feel different or awkward or weird. And you said, and because of that, well, that's how I interpreted what you wrote. She was like, yes, it was delicious, but it hurt an animal and I didn't want to do that. And that was the first and last time she's ever had meat, which is amazing. You didn't push her the other way. I've seen so many parents, not because they want to be mean, they're just so excited about their choice. And they insist on the child who wants to be like their friend and wants to have a meal like their friend. And the child goes completely the other way, not just on veganism, but on health. They become a junk.
On everything.
On everything. And I think that's also really important. And I love that you mentioned in this book. So maybe you want to talk about that as well, like how you dealt with, you know, your kids
like
not feeling different or weird.
I think the key to not only parenting, I think the key to everything in life is to be present in the moment. So I never say never. And I don't have like, I don't like to have like a strict policy. I think sometimes in the heat of the moment, you need to be flexible and to make a completely unexpected decision, like this, that the one that you reminded me about. It's like when we were at this, there was this campfire with other girls her age. She was 3, and it was true. She never ever expressed curiosity in eating meat, but at this moment she came to me. She was happy, and she said, "Mom, it smells so good. They are having these sausages on the stick. Can I please try?" And I just thought, it was more of a gut feeling, to be honest. Like, yes, this is a good thing. I need to let her. I just need to. And I said, yeah, sure. And then I asked her, and she was like, yeah, it was good. It was so good. But we don't want to hurt animals. And then I thought, that's it. I have this whole issue resolved. She has it for the rest of her life. Like, I will never, ever have to talk about this. She will never question it, because now this choice, she internalized this choice. So probably, she was only 3, but probably she was able, mature enough to do it at this age. And she needed this experience to maybe like close the subject, close this chapter of.
And you also talk about it later on in your book. You have another, I forget now, but you mention 4, here it is, 4 tenets. And you talk about integrity, flavor, presentation, and choice.
Yes.
And I also love that you mention, presentation, just to make it look fun and nice, but the choice. So, rather than have something at home, like no choice. And I actually believe that for children on everything. I think it breeds happier children. Even for my 1-year-old, I'll be like, oh, what do you want to wear today? And I give her the choice of 2 things.
It's very important. Yes.
More than that, they're going to get confused.
They get crazy.
Work. But if they have 2 things, then they feel like they've made that decision. They own it. And
it's very important.
And the same thing with food. And if they feel that,
we are empowering our children this way, because I strongly believe, don't get me wrong, I strongly believe we are responsible for our children. That's why we make these choices for them. And food choices are very important for several reasons. In my book, I also talk about emotional development, because I think this is a subject nobody talks about. I think this is also important, but primarily it is important because of the children's health. So I believe if you as a parent, if I as a parent, I know that veganism is the most healthy food choice. I'm of course talking whole food, plant-based veganism, not junk food veganism, but junk food is never good. So then I see that I believe it's my duty to feed my children this way, but still you can give your child a choice within this group of food. So like there are very, very funny ways you can do it. The older the children, the less this choice things work, but for small ones, it works perfectly. There is even a trick, like we have these veggies today, and you show them, and they can be like rainbow, like different colors, and you say, would you like them raw or cooked? This is like really simple, but it really works. And I think children are delighted when we treat them as adults. Mm-hmm. They need to feel treated as adults. Also, I talk in my book.
Yeah, when they feel important. When they feel important.
Exactly. Everybody wants to have the voice.
Yeah.
What I talk in this book, there are no recipes. If you want to find the kids-friendly, kid-approved recipes, I have them on my Instagram. But in this book, I give some examples, and for example, that we're doing like a family pizza day. So you prepare the base and then you give them, or you prepare together, because cooking with kids is also very, very good policy to, you know, on getting them on board and getting them to eat healthy and getting them to eat a variety. So then you prepare like a board of, you know, toppings, and everybody makes their own pizza. You make these small pizzas and everybody has like different colors, different, and it's like, of course you do it maybe not on a school night, but on weekend or Friday night, and it's like big fun. It's like a party, because I believe food and eating, it has to be like a joyous experience. That's why also it's, as we said, it's never good to make your children eat something, to insist, to make a big fuss. Like there are a lot of parents who are worried about picky eaters or poor eaters. There is a chapter on them in my book too. And my first advice, the primordial one, is don't make a fuss about it. Pretend you don't see. Don't worry. If you worry, don't show you worry about it. Just act as everything is okay, because it's really a vicious circle. It's a build up tension, and like people who had like children who went through a phase, like I'm talking my clients, okay, my clients, vegans with vegan children or vegetarian, they had a child who had a picky phase. Children go through this.
And they also change their taste.
Of
you know,
course,
one week they're in love with cauliflower, and the next
and then they hate it,
it,
and they love broccolis or whatever, mushrooms. Yeah, that's what's happening. I remember my daughter picking out raisins from everything, and then she had them as snack. It's like, it's crazy. They change. They are children. So if you insist, if you panic, if you go into this panic mode and you start like counting their food intake, calories, like doing some crazy stuff, like chasing your child with a spoon around the house, then you can really have a picky eater forever, picky forever. I was like this when I was a child, and part of the problem was my parents insisting on me, on my eating meat and drinking cow's milk. And I am allergic to cow's milk. So I really hated it, because it's like a natural reaction. Usually you feel like, you don't like the smell because you are allergic. It can be this, but of course nobody knew about allergies back there. So my relationship with food was really, really bad until I was in my, I was like a big teenager, like 16, 17, when first of all, I became more independent. Also, I could whip up something for myself. I wasn't dependent on my mom's cuisine. My mom cooks well, cooks great. Now she's vegan, and she's been vegan for years, but back then she was still doing a lot of traditional food. So I could do something on myself, or I could ask her. She like, I would eat more sides and salads, and then my relationship with food really improved because I had a choice.
I think that's such a good point, and really not to focus on children being picky. All children might be picky,
yes,
and it doesn't mean you're making the wrong decision. And I would say what I find being a vegan mama and you know, making plant-based food is that people are just waiting to pounce on you that, you know, your child doesn't like that. So I can see it if I'm ever out, or, you know, or someone comes over and my kids have eaten loads of lentils at lunch and they just don't want them for dinner, or they want something else. It's that look of, They don't like the food they're not eating. And it's like, you know what, you could have made nuggets for your children and they wouldn't be eating that second time out.
Of course.
It's not about being vegan, it's about offering choice.
Yes, and also what I would like to say, because I didn't mention my younger kids. We only talk about the biggest one. So my twins, they were born in 2007, so they will be 14 soon. These are two boys, non-identical twins, and they have been vegans all their life because I was vegan before I got pregnant. So they have been vegans, and with them, it's like even a different story than with my daughter, because they, for example, they would never ever ask if they can try meat, because they just don't see meat or any animal product as food. They look at it and they are like, yikes, it's disgusting. They say, oh, mom, and it's for them, they have like a different, I don't know, different body, differently wired brains, because they say it smells so bad. They are just so not used to it that, like, we went to a hotel once for holidays, and there was this lady who was like, oh yeah, they are vegan all their lives. And she was like, don't they miss this, like, I don't know, like sausage or whatever, or ice cream, like milk ice cream. And I was looking at her and I was like, you know, how can I explain it to you? I think if you've never ever had these products, you just don't perceive them as food. And my son, one of them, he was like 9 at the time, or 10, it was a few years ago. And she said, yeah, I think maybe it makes sense. And then he didn't say a word because he was too shy. And when we went to our room, he said, Mom, but it's not that you perceive it this way. This is not food. These are animals. And I had like tears in my eyes, because it's like, it's so simple and it's so true. He said, Mom, it's not like this is not it. These are animals' bodies. Like, and I was like, oh my God, I love you so much. Like, it's a whole new generation with completely new views of the world. And for me, it's a hope for our world to get better, you know? It's like,
I think we do have to listen to our children and give our children that choice, because I know many parents, I mean, not just when we were growing up, which obviously was a different era, but now, who their kids will say the same, like we said when we were young. They're like, what is this? Or is that an animal? Are you serious? Or I don't want to eat a pig, or I don't want to eat. And the parents will be like, you know, don't mention that it's an animal, or they'll be trying to you know, hide it, or they'll be mixing it in with veg. And then I'm like, why aren't you just honest and say, yes, this is what we eat. If you don't want to eat that, then we'll look into an alternative. But I think we go back to the same question that people are worried, my goodness, with the protein, the iron and the calcium, and how their children are going to get all of these vitamins and minerals without being supplemented and be healthy. And that's what I want to now talk about with you. I mean, obviously we both did the same course, but even before that, how did you ensure that your children were going to be healthy, that they were going to have a balanced diet? What tips do you have for people who do want to make that transition, or who are vegan, in ensuring that their children get all their minerals and vitamins?
Okay, like, this is a very, very big topic. Obviously, we're not going to cover it in detail. There is more in my book, of course, but yes. And also I consult people if they want like a specific diet, they want to look at the specific macro and micro elements in their diet. But this is like a very huge topic. what I want to start with, which is like really, really important, is like I'm this vegan coach. So I come across many vegans, especially parents or parents to be, some vegetarians too, and they are all like you said, they are so worried. I sometimes even use the word obsessed. Like, yes, they have this list of all the nutrients that they read about or heard about. And what is going on? If you are vegetarian or vegan, obviously, you are like always, or 99.9% of times, much more health conscious than anybody else on the planet. There are people who have been raising their kids for years, feeding them McDonald's and Pizza Hut, and like no fresh veggies or foods whatsoever. And these kids, I'm sorry, I don't want to say they are growing healthy, but most of them, being kids, they still are, because it's later in life when you see the consequences, when it gets toll on your body. Because at the beginning, everybody is like,
or young, and the bodies bodies can take
some
a bit
kids
of a
are overweight, but you don't see anything serious because it's building up of years of bad diet, of high cholesterol and animal fats and animal protein, which is no good, etc. So first of all, I say, take it easy. Don't, because also what is going on, meat, like animal industry is endangered by the whole vegan revolution that we are a part of. Because this is a revolution, it goes so quickly, the world is changing. So hence all these articles in the press, all this interviews.
Sorry, I had to mute it there because suddenly the baby walked in and had some music playing.
Okay, so all these interviews in the press, all these so-called experts who are paid experts in all mass media, all this propaganda like, oh, veganism, good for the adults, but for children, not so much. Like, are you sure? Like, how about protein? How all this, calcium, whatever. And with calcium, it's like, it's pure propaganda because, for example, milk is very rich in calcium, but in fact, consumption of milk draws out the calcium from our bone. We consume milk and we end up with less calcium. Milk is not a good source of calcium for us, for humans.
For people.
Milk is like very, very harmful, not only for this. The list is long. So anyway, what I want to say, people are just panicking because there is a big social pressure. And being vegan is accepted, though sometimes still perceived as weird in some cultures. But raising your children vegan is not a generally accepted, approved of thing. So these people get all these questions, and the health professionals who have no idea about diet. I'm not talking veganism. Like pediatricians, they don't study nutrition. Yeah. They don't have time. They have too much to study during the 5 or 6 years of their studies, apart from food, right? So they are like, they don't know what's going on, and they want to feel like professionals. So they warn these parents. They have no idea if it's good or bad, but they think, okay, I better tell them, are you sure you want to raise your kid vegan? But does he or she get all their this and that? And then these parents are more stress. Then there are like their parents, like.
And also it's worth noting a lot of them, even though I think now it's illegal to do this, but a lot of them get a lot of freebies, a lot of incentives from
Yes, of
the big
course.
houses, whether it's, you know, Nestle or
Yes.
Heinz or whoever else.
Yes.
They get the freebies that then they give to their clients, to the mummies and daddies, and they say, try this milk, you know, this is a good formula milk. And then the kids like it, or the parents think, oh, the pediatrician told me that. And then it's just a cycle that goes on from there.
Of course, of course. So let's keep this in mind that the parents who are raising their children vegan, vegetarian, we've already made very healthy choices, and we're making them every day. And let's change the paradigm. Let's stop questioning if our children get everything they need. Let's look at what they are not getting once we quit animal products. They don't get antibiotics, hormones, animal fat, animal protein, which is not good for our bodies because it causes a lot of inflammations. We don't give them high doses of sugar because we already think about health. There is like, the list is long, the list of the things we don't give to our children. And these are things that all other children get, and it's like, we are really doing well already. So as far as nutrition, of course, there are some cases, people are different, everybody is different, children are different too. It all depends on the diet. Some things depend on climate, on accessibility, on the quality of local food too. But in general, my advice is, eat a variety. Don't keep the same, even super healthy foods every day or every second day. No, there are thousands of edible plants on this planet. So just eat lots of them. As it's now very fashionable, very in, eat rainbow. Of course, eat rainbow. This is beautiful. It's like different. The color also indicates some nutrients contained. So this is important. Children love it because everybody starts to eat with our eyes. So eat rainbow, eat a variety, and the more you can cook at home or get somebody to cook it for you, doesn't matter, but home cooked meals, the better. The less processed, the better. So whole grains, vegetables, fruits, seeds, nuts. I am I know people say no oil, but I'm not no oil for children at all, because if we can use great, good quality cold pressed oil, why not? It's like extra calories,
a bit of energy. Yes. It's good fats. I also agree.
If your child is not overweight, doesn't have like any specific health issues, I think oils are great. Oils are not good for people who are already have a lot of heart problems and are overweight. They want to lose weight, of course, no oil. But for children, I think it's okay. Seeds and nuts, as I said, they are very important because they are like concentrated nutrients. I think of them as like a natural multivitamins, it's a small thing and the whole plant will grow out of it. So nutrients there are really dense. And usually they also have the oil, like these good oils in a like natural form. So this is important. I believe, okay, nobody's perfect. I even posted on my Instagram recently. I said so, and I said, yes, I buy vegan ready-made produce sometimes too. Of course, but let's make a majority of foods at home, or get, I don't know, somebody, or go to the friendly restaurants when you know the chef and let him prepare it for you. But home cooked meals. So the more fresh produce you buy, the better. I'm big fan of eating local seasonal food, but I know it's not always feasible. We are both lucky, right? Because we live in Mediterranean climate and we have access. I go to a farmer's market, which is not the shop, not the chain, real farmer's market every Saturday. And I come back with loads of fresh produce, and it's local, and I can talk to the people who were farming it. So it's like, I really love it. I can, know the people. I can also boost local economy, which I think is great. It's win-win. So so I think this is very important. And to conclude the whole is my child getting enough of this or that? These vegan parents or vegetarian parents, they are often obsessed with the supplements, and they try to give them children like this whole cabinet of supplements. I am not a fan. I'm not a fan. What I believe we should supplement is B12. And it's not because we shouldn't be vegan, not at all. It's because we destroyed the soil of our planet, because it was present in soil until we did what we did. So hopefully future generations won't have to supplement it. And vitamin D is sometimes the case too. Like I said,
if someone's living in a cloudy country,
yes,
or cold
country, it depends.
Sure.
Also, it depends on the skin tone, because the lighter your skin tone, the more you get from the sun. Also, if you use sunblock, you won't get any. So, and obviously, it depends on your lifestyle. And especially now, with the lockdowns all around the world, okay, I live at Mediterranean, so we have pretty sunny weather here, very nice. So here, the general policy is 20 minutes a day, every day, in the sun without any sunblock, and you expose like face, neck, hands. The more you expose, the better. Yeah, sometimes you go with long sleeve. It depends on the weather, but at least this, like, sit in the sun or walk in the sun 20 minutes per day, every day. This is enough to get D2 for most people. It's then produced in your skin. And the rest, if you eat really healthy, you will get the rest from healthy vegan diet. Because we have to remember that two things. First, that these artificial supplements, they are not always well absorbed, and sometimes they can have secondary effects, just like any drug, like not that serious, but you can overdo it. It's like, it's not always
there's a balance, and it's also getting what you need. Maybe someone does need some extra.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would also add for children, there are some vegan or vegetarian supplements that do also include iodine, which is also,
it depends. We live at the sea, so this is also this depends on if the salt in your country has it added or not, and if you live close to the sea. So I'm saying this also, apart from B12, which is unfortunately pretty general and global,
and even omnivores should be having anyway.
Yes, of course. But you know why they don't need that much? Because the animals
injected.
The animals are getting it in factory farms. So this is the vicious circle. So the rest really depends on where you live, how you live, what you eat. I encourage people who have doubts or who don't feel well or are not sure if everything is okay, to just do blood work once a year or maybe once every 6 months, even for children. I think it's much better to do a full panel, ask precisely what you can get, all of them. You can see all the minerals, all the vitamins there, and then either relax and stop worrying, because stress is no good for your health or for your children's health either, or make some changes in your diet.
As you see, yeah.
You know, not only what we eat, what we don't eat is also important. Because, for example, if you would have, this is for adults, a lot of caffeine, children, I hope no children get caffeine, but you never know. And for everybody, a lot of sugar, these substances, there are more, but these two, for example,
they stop the nutrients
absorption of some vitamins, some nutrients.
Agree more. Joanna Moore, I'm so sorry. I've just seen the time and I have to go and get my middle one.
Of course.
But I'm just going to wrap it up now by saying, so summing up what you're saying is basically eat a variety. Do not stress. You're already doing better than most people if you're following a vegan diet and you're doing that for your children. If you are worried, whether actually, to be honest, if you're worried about your children's nutrients or your own, go get some blood work done and find people who will reassure you. Don't listen to the negative people, whatever it is. I'll end on a note. Once I was at a kid's birthday party with a mother who was telling me, your children, you don't give them meat at home, and my kids, they can choose what they want to eat. So one of them will try it occasionally, the other one will never touch it. But they were saying, oh, how do they get their nutrients? At the same time, they were telling their kids, how many nuggets did you have? Oh, you had 7. That's okay. You only had 5. Eat more. And then the nanny was like, oh, madam, they didn't eat anything else, not even a cucumber. And they were like, oh, that's okay. They had the nuggets. And I was like, you asking me about my children.
Exactly. Yes.
So, on that note, let's all do the best we can. Yasmina actually defended herself to a classmate once that said, why was her vegan cheese, it looked different to their cheese sandwich? And she told them, you know what, my mummy is doing the best she can and we're being brought up healthy. Your mummy's doing the best she can, but I don't criticize your food, so don't criticize mine.
Yeah. Love, peace. Exactly. Very wise.
I will leave on that note. Joanna, thank you so much. Everyone, thank you for watching. If you are watching this on Facebook, invite more people to join our Cook Vegan Facebook group, and they can see it here. And if you are watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to Cook Vegan and click your notifications button so that you can see more amazing interviews and lots of recipes on delicious food that your kids can eat, that my kids love. They're even going to have a truffle burger today made out of buckwheat. So lots and lots of yummy food out there that kids can eat and enjoy and just thrive on. So Joanna, thank you so much. Don't forget, you're a vegan coach, and you can find Joanna on Instagram, on Facebook, and on her website. And this is her book. It's sold on Amazon, Your Vegan Kid. Got a little intro behind. It's an amazing book, everyone. It's easy to read. I love the font, Joanna, that is not, especially once you pass 40, that
we're not getting any younger.
Exactly.
Thanks,
everyone. Remember to cook vegan and read this book.
Thanks.
Bye, Joanna. We'll be in touch.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.